It's crazy how easy online shopping is these days, right? It can be 2 a.m, you're lying in bed, practically anything you want at your fingertips. It's like the biggest mall ever, and they never close, and you can shop in your underwear. And smart online businesses know they need to make that checkout process as easy as possible, or customers will just abandon their carts and move on to something else. Have you ever been shopping online, put something in your cart, and then seen that simple purple Shop Pay button? One click, your payment and shopping info is done, and you're back to browsing something else. Well, that purple button means the store is using Shopify. Everything's done with one click, and it makes life easier for everybody. Shopify is the commerce platform of choice for millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from the small startups to the juggernauts like Mattel and Gymshark. If you don't know how to make a website, they got you with their ready-to-go templates. Need help getting the heavy lifting lifted? Shopify's AI tools can help with product images and descriptions, discount codes, and more. How do I show people my product? Yeah, it's Shopify. They offer easy-to-run email and social media campaigns. And did I mention that purple Shop Pay button? That one that's used by millions of businesses around the world? That's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/RTG. Go to shopify.com/RTG. Shopify.com/RTG. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 347, and we are going back to the world of Sega and talking about the sequel to one of my favorite Genesis games of all time, ToeJam Earl, Panic on Funkotron. Or in layman's terms, ToeJam Earl 2. I love the first ToeJam Earl game. I played it for the first time a few years ago, and I just adored it. The characters were funny. I loved the roguelike mechanics. I hadn't played anything else retro like that before, like ToeJam Earl. I thought it was fantastic. And everyone has been warning me for years that the sequel to that game is way different. I had looked it up. I knew going in it wouldn't be that same roguelike formula. I had made peace with that. It was okay. The graphics are great. It's the same characters. How bad can it be? It's not like it's terrible, but like, unfortunately, I really don't love this one. It's not because it isn't the same formula as the first game, because I genuinely respect that they tried to do something different. I don't think the recipe they came up with tasted as good as it did the first time around. Panic on Funkotron looks really nice. The soundtrack, as you just heard, is fucking awesome. The game's actually pretty funny, but it turned from like a roguelike into like a subpar 2D platformer where you run around on ToeJam Earl's planet capturing humans that came back with them after the first game. Cool concept, but after a few levels, I just thought it was boring. So it's not all bad. It's not, we'll get into it. My guest this week is the gentleman of Remember the Game Industries, my pal David Rae. He did play this one growing up, which I did not. So he has the nostalgia goggles for it. And even he was still kind of in the middle of the road on Panic on Funkotron in 2025 like I was. We're not going to rip this game a new Ecco the Dolphin or anything like that. There's parts of it we really like, but at the end of the day, they changed the herbs and spices, and the new recipe just left us wanting a little bit more, And we'll get into all that today on this episode in just a few minutes, because speaking of leaving you wanting just a little bit more, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard, and consider this your warning. Listening, our intros are kind of long. They're not that long, but they're kind of long. But they're fun. We talk video games and stuff. They're a good time. And you don't need to get super funky if you want to skip them. You just slide the little thing on your phone to about the 30-minute mark, and you're into ToeJam Earl talk. It's that simple. No need to send me angry messages or leave me bad reviews or tell me my show sucks or egg my house. Or that one hasn't been done. Although I think there are people out there that if they knew where they live, the eggs would be plentiful, which is why you bastards won't. I don't actually live in Edmonton. You guys won't even never know where I live. I live in a mysterious city, and you'll never know. But anyway, seriously, if you want to skip them, go to about the 30-minute mark. You'll get in there. Or become a Patreon, because our Patreon starts at just $3 a month, and you get every episode of Remember the Game, old and new, ad-free with timestamps. So you can just skip to wherever you want to be. It's great. Plus, you keep the bills on here at our place, which is also very nice. Let me get my plugs out of the way. Give me 90 seconds or so. I got to get them. That's how we're done. Shout out to my man Joe from 4545 Creative for designing all of our merch. You can see it at rememberthegamepodcast.com. And of course, as I mentioned, our Patreon is really what pays our bills. We publish 4 additional podcasts every week. So you get a new show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on our Patreon. None of them have ads in them, and you can start listening for as little as $3 a month. You can also write into the podcast, vote on the games we cover, join our our Discord, which is over 1,000 members at this point. And you get instant access to hundreds and hundreds of archive bonus podcasts as well. And most importantly, you get a shout out. It gets to hear me mispronounce your name. Like, I think I might nail all these. We'll see how this goes. But a huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Tyler Acker, Amanda Hug and Kiss. Why can't I find Amanda Hug and Kiss? Maybe your standards are too high. Ha ha. Shout out. Simpsons. Artorius the Glorious, that sounds like a wrestling name. Phil Kirby, John Uncart, Christopher Valens, Red Star 55, Alexander Johnson, Waffle Stomper, Chris Nethercutt, Mexicanzilla, Athena, Maxime, I am amazing. I think it's supposed to say I am amazing, but it's I am Asian. So I'm not sure if you're amazing or Asian. Either way, though, you could be an amazing Asian. I don't know. Flash 21 and Daniel Engberg. So when I said I wasn't going to ruin them, what I meant to say is I'll ruin about half of them. Thank you all so much for the support. You can find all that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. There's a couple of freebies over there if you want to check them out. Our subscription starts at $3 a month. We offer annual subs that'll get you your 12th month on the house, and we donate 5% of it to the Stollery Children's Hospital. Wins all around. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow it. And before we get to our first blower this week, I wanted to address 2 quick things. Number 1, if you don't know yet, we got a new puppy. We got a new CEO. Her name is Millie. She's awesome. She's been in charge of the show for about 2 weeks, and I have been bombarded. That's not even an exaggeration. Bombarded with messages asking Adam, where does Mark McHugh's Hall of Fame status stand with the new CEO? Because as it was revealed, Molly, our previous CEO, rest in peace, was the one keeping Mark out of the Hall of Fame. So I have put it to Millie, and she has decided when she is fully housebroken, she will address Mark getting into the Hall of Fame. And based on the first couple of weeks, that's probably never going to happen. So you can all sleep safely at night knowing that Mark will not desecrate, will not ever be in our Hall of Fame. Will make our Hall of Fame worse than it already is. Desecrate. I think the word is desecrate. Defecate? No, that's poop. Degenerate? Anyway, Mark's not in a Hall of Fame. Millie says no. Also, I just wanted to say, every week there's like 4 or 5 blowing in the cartridge comments asking me, hey, Adam, have you ever played? And then just insert a game here. I do occasionally read those, but I just don't want you to because I see them every week, and they're always different. It's not the same people. It's different comments. I never want to pick and choose which one of those I'm going to read, and I have addressed a lot of them before. So if you're a patron and you're leaving those messages and I don't read them on the show, feel free to DM me. I'll happily tell you what I haven't played. I just don't always read those on the show because I get so many of them. That's all. Okay, let's see what some of you had to say here. Both Toe for Love and Bone on the Meat ask me why I stopped doing the, as is becoming tradition, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass during the infamous intro. I used to put a clip, for most of you, you'd probably know, I used to put a clip of Expansion Pass in the infamous intro, and I don't do it anymore. For those asking as to why, I did get a lot of complaints about it, which was a small portion of why I stopped doing it, because people complain about everything on the internet, so I don't really give a fuck what people complain about. It's a lot of work. It's a pain in the ass to put them in, and it just got to the point where I felt like there's enough shows telling you, enough episodes of RTG. The whole point of putting the sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass in the intro, straight up, was to try to drive more people to the Patreon. And at this point, I'm like, there's probably 200 episodes of Remember the Game with a pre of last week's episode in the infamous intro. So I think people know what they're all about now, and I just wanted to get past the plugs a little bit faster and get to the blowing in the cartridge. So I appreciate those asking, but that was why I dropped it. I just felt it had run its course. That's all. Meat, Guts, and Magic said, hey, yo. In the last several months, I have heard you responding to people complaining about the various things in the podcast, like you putting big name games in the same Patreon polls as smaller classic games, and then those small ones never get picked, or just how you do stuff in general. I just want to say this podcast is a community, not a democracy. We come here because of the way you think and present this product, and for the increasingly rare voice cracks. If people want things changed, well, then they can start their own podcast. Keep doing things the way you're doing, because the rest of us enjoy it. Long live the hot dogs, except for the weenies. Thank you, Meat, Guts, and Magic. I will say, yeah, the voice cracks do seem to be getting a little bit less, eh? I don't know if I finally hit puberty. Millie, get away from my computer. I don't know if I finally hit puberty or what happened, but the voice cracks do seem to be going away. I will say, you're right that the community, the podcast is a community, not a democracy, but feedback is welcome. I never mind it when someone sends me a message or a DM and just says like, hey dude, just FYI, like we tried doing a couple episodes where I was playing the game while we were recording and the feedback on them was mixed. And I was like, all right, I hear you. My eyes may not both work, but my ears do. I hear what's going on. Uh-oh. Where's my dog? Millie? Oh, there you are. Okay. Sorry. Shaylee's not home today, so I have a 4-month-old puppy running around in a room with like a lot of expensive shit in it that I don't know how to fix and can't afford to replace. So I'm just trying to keep an eye on her. But yeah, no, like, so people reached out and some people said they liked it when I played the games when we recorded and some didn't. I was like, feedback is heard. I do value feedback and constructive criticism. You guys genuinely do pay my bills. So in a way, you are my customers. And as a business, from the business side of podcasting, I'd be a fool not to listen to your feedback. But you're right. Yeah. The people that just write in and they're like, your infamous intro sucks. The intros are too long. You swear too much. Your opinion on this game is wrong. This and that. I'm like, fuck off. Like, I guess, I don't even know. I guess I just picked this comment to say thank you, Meat, Guts, and Magic. And just to say, like, don't feel like you can't DM me or message me or tag me or whatever. With a criticism is fine. If you're going to write in and tell me that I'm an idiot or that, or whatever the fuck, then I'll probably read it, but then I'll laugh at you while I drink wine. That's what I do. I sit in the tub and drink wine and read the negative comments and laugh. But vast majority, 95% plus of the people I deal with online are awesome. Super nice. And and constructive. And you know what? This doesn't just apply to me. This applies to every podcaster out there, every YouTuber, every streamer, every content creator. Like, again, criticism is fair game. Constructive criticism is fair game. Suggestions are cool. But like, before you send someone a message and tell them that they're a piece of shit or fuck you or you suck or leave them a 1-star review and tell them what a piece of shit they are, like, just remember, like, I know it's so childish, but like, how would you feel if you were on that side of that? You know what I mean? Like, if someone like Darkside Phil is a piece of shit, he's a piece of shit. So tell him he's a piece of shit. If you truly, truly in your heart think that I'm a piece of shit, then tell me I'm a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck what you think, but do it. But like, to reach out and call me a Nazi or call me a fucking idiot or tell me to kill myself or tell me that my family sucks or insult my dog because I don't like a game as much as you or my intro, my show goes a little bit too long, you take a look in the mirror, buddy. Touch some grass. Just think for a minute. Like, why is the world so cunty? I remember growing up in the 90s and it was fun. And we were on different sides of all the kinds of different, like, I was a Montreal Canadiens fan and my family were Toronto Maple Leafs fans. It was fun to watch hockey with each other. I had Nintendo, my friend had Sega. It was fun to play each other's systems. Why is it now everyone's just got to be like, oh, fuck you. Oh, man. I don't want to go down this road again. Thank you, Meat, Guts, and Magic. I appreciate it. Doesn't Gil get a lick? Said, I'm seriously considering getting a ROG ally soon, which, by the way, people are going to write in and be like, he said it ROG. It's an ROG or a rogue, or I call it ROG because it's spelled like Pog with an R in front. I'm seriously considering getting a ROG ally soon, which has me thinking, what would you consider the top 3 essential games to play handheld rather than on TV? Also looking for any accessories that you consider absolute must-haves for a handheld gaming PC. Ally X has incredible batteries, so I'm not worried about a battery bank. I can't speak to accessories, doesn't Gil get a lick, because I've got my Switch and my Steam Deck. I did get a cheap dock for my steamer, which is pretty rad because it's hooked up to my TV, but I don't have any other accessories other than that. So I can't speak to those. As far as 3 essential handheld games, I would say Slay the Spire is one because I played it on Game Pass and then bought it on my Switch because that game is just is card game. You don't need fancy like big screen and everything. And it's just so perfect for like taking on the bus or on a plane or on the road or on the toilet or whatever it is you're doing. So I would say that is one. Even though I have yet to actually play it, I would say Stardew Valley is one because that seems like the perfect handheld, take it with you a few minutes at a time, jump in and jump out whenever you can type game. So that's 2. And then I would say, Into the Breach. Tactical game. Fucking money. Dude, if you just had a handheld gaming device with Slay the Spire, Into the Breach, and Stardew Valley on it, you're golden. Hundreds of hours. Hundreds of hours. Into the Breach, if you've not played it, is a roguelike tactical game where you can control giant robotic mechs and fight off aliens. It's so fucking good. Those would be my 3 must-play handheld games. Perfect. That Ally does look pretty rad. I don't think I'm going to buy one because I don't play my Steamer enough as it is. And it's going to be expensive as fuck, but they do look pretty awesome. JB Sharp said, hey Blank, in an age of mostly digital games, I find it hard to believe that modern games will all of a sudden gain a ton of resale value in the next 20 or 30 years when they become retro. We know that Earthbound, a 30-year-old game, is worth a fortune, but I can't imagine a modern game like Donkey Kong Bonanza will get that same treatment when it eventually becomes retro. What say you? I mean, there's the occasional circumstance where modern games do become worth a few bucks. Like Mario 3D All-Stars for the Switch, just because Nintendo sold it for 6 days and then was like, psych, and took it away. So now it's still not worth like Earthbound money, but it has gone up a little bit in value. But I don't think a lot of anything these days. Like I know there's some cards, like Pokemon cards and shit are, but like nobody was buying stuff for value when Earthbound went out. Like in the 80s and 90s, people weren't buying gaming shit for value. That's why you could get a Virtual Boy for $8. Like, people just bought what they wanted. Now, because people see how much old games and old action figures and collectibles and shit are worth, now everyone's buying everything and grading them and keeping them sealed and putting them away in safety deposit boxes with the hope that someday they'll be worth more. And I just don't think they ever will be because there's tons of people out there. I guarantee you there are a ton of people out there that have bought copies of Donkey Kong Bonanza, sent it in for grading, which I still don't fucking understand, and have just got it put away somewhere in the hopes of selling it for a down payment on a house someday. When it's like everyone's doing it now. Nobody was doing it back then. So if you come across a sealed Earthbound or a sealed Pokemon Red, that shit's worth a fortune because nobody was buying it and keeping it for the value like they are now. Over and above the fact that, like you said, basically every game you can buy physically is available digitally. I think the physical games that are out now that'll be worth something in the future, in my opinion, are either going to be the limited time releases like Mario 3D All-Stars or stuff like things from like limited run games where they make a limited edition physical version of a game and then maybe someday down the road it's worth a fortune or worth more. But if you're buying Switch 2, Xbox 3, X, PS5 games in the hopes of like someday having a very valuable collection, I think you need to find a different thing to collect, in my opinion. Millie, get out of there. What are you doing? Fucking. Does anyone want a puppy? Oh my God. When we got Molly, she was a year old, so she was already through the puppy phase. Come here. This little stinker. And she's like 4 pounds, so she can like climb into my TV stand and get behind all my old retro consoles and everything. And just, you got to watch her all the time. And I only have one eye, and I need it to read my notes. Smear the Cheese said, hey, Adam, what's your biggest pro wrestling what if? Mine would be, what if Finn Balor didn't get hurt and have to give up the title the night after winning it? I wish Finn Balor hadn't gotten hurt. I think the biggest what if in wrestling history will always be what if Bret hadn't screwed Bret. Like, the Montreal Screwjob is, for my money, the most important night in modern wrestling history. Maybe wrestling history. Because that turned Vince McMahon into Mr. McMahon. That made him the heel that Austin feuded with, that they then put WCW out of business. Like, if he doesn't turn into the evil Mr. McMahon character, Austin probably still gets it over, but doesn't hit the white hot. Like, that's the greatest feud in wrestling history, is Austin McMahon. So that probably doesn't happen if Mr. McMahon doesn't become the evil Mr. McMahon. Because they probably keep like it's I think that is the biggest what if of all time. What if Bret had not gone to WCW, or what if Bret had just dropped the title to Shawn and Vince would have never became a villain? I for my money, that's the biggest what if. Steve S. said, playing through Expedition 33 now. May I say a game I keep hearing about, but thought to myself I won't be interested because of the RPG nature, and holy boy was I wrong. Still figuring out timing for dodging and parrying. Do you have any suggestions, as I've slowly given up on parrying to go for the not-so-sexy dodge? Is it as simple as get good, or practice makes perfect? Unfortunately, Steve, yes, I think it is. I never fully got the parrying time down. There was occasional attacks where I found the parry time, and then I would parry and get those sweet, sweet counterattacks. But by and large, I was team dodge because the window to get it is better. And I don't feel like you can beat the game without learning how to at least dodge. It's such a critical mechanic, and I never really got the full feel for the parrying. And I was saying when I was reviewing it, when I was playing it, I think and Expedition 33 is brilliant. I'm not shitting on Expedition 33. I feel like the developers had a like a frame or a time in their mind where the parry would work, and my brain just had a different time in mind. Because no matter how much I tried to delay my parry time or rush my parry time, I was never really able to get a full grasp on it. But the dodging will come. Stick to the dodging. When you get good at that, slowly move up to parrying. Captain Asbury Juice said, hey, Adam, do you think we'll get a hockey game for the Switch too? I feel like they're similar to RPGs in some ways, especially the manager modes where you manage your team like a party and the matches are the battles. It's a damn shame we never got a hockey game for the Switch. And before everyone writes in, like there are a couple of indie hockey games on there, just to put it out there. If you're looking for a hockey game to play, there's a couple of indie ones out there. I can't remember what they're called now. I think. Maybe they're just on Steam. I think there's some on Switch. I don't. Like if EA won't put NHL on PC, which they haven't. When's the last NHL game that was on PC? Like, if they're not doing that, there's no way they're fucking putting it on Switch. And it burns my ass. And it tears me up inside. Because I would buy NHL 26 on my Switch. When was the last EA NHL game on PC? The last EA NHL game released for PC was NHL 09 in 2008. Holy fuck. So, I mean, if they're not putting them on PC, I don't imagine them putting the time into putting them on Switch. I hope I'm wrong, but sadly, I don't think we ever get an NHL game on Switch. God damn it. At least not an official NHL game. At least, okay, because I know people will write in, not an EA NHL game, okay? I know there's other ones. We won't get an EA NHL one. I don't think. We need 2K back. God damn it. Finally, before we move on, it's letter time. It's letter time. Oroku Saki's Gardener said Game of the Year conversations are in full swing now, with so many contenders being indie games sold below the full price of AAA games. I'm wondering if the game's price will have a major effect on what people see as the better game for the year. Silksong is already a great game, and then you add in the fact that it's only $20, and it becomes a massive value per dollar spent. Expedition 33 is in a similar boat, being a Game of the Year contender sold below the usual full price of games. I'm wondering if this year is a year in which being a huge AAA full price game will actually hurt your chances at being Game of the Year. That's interesting. See, that's an interesting point, because I'm not going to say you're wrong, Oroku Saki's Gardener. Millie, come on, get out of my computer. Why? Get out of there. Sorry, guys. If Shaylee's normally home right now, and then I can leave Millie downstairs, but she's not home today. So here we are. Come here. Stop it. You're not going to win any puppies of the year. You know what you remind me of? You remind me of, Roman from, or was it Roman? Kieran McCauley's character on Succession. Roman, I think. You're a CEO, but you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you're just making a mess and causing problems for everybody. Come here. To answer your question, I've never really considered the value of a game, like ever. I have never ever considered the value of like how much I paid for a game when I was picking which game was my game of the year. I've never thought about that, and I'm curious. Do other people out there think about that? I will say the one thing to be kept in mind is, at least in some of the bigger, more well-known game award shows, if not all the votes are going to like gaming journalists, editors, reviewers, stuff like that. And I don't know how many of them are buying these games and how many of them are getting them. So I don't know if they're going to consider it, but I don't disagree with you. It might help, just because I do think there's a bubble bursting in gaming, where I do think some gamers, not all, but I do think some gamers are sick of plunking $70, $80, $90 down for these big AAA games and then feeling like they're just kind of let down a little bit by them. Whereas, like you said, you throw in, everyone can buy Silksong for $20. You know what I mean? Like, it's Expedition 33 was like 40 or 50 or whatever. Don't forget, too, both of those were on Game Pass, which is where a lot of people played them as well. I don't know if I'm convinced that people will vote literally with their wallets and vote for a game because it was cheaper and better. But I do think people are more than ever willing to roll the dice on games that aren't the big AAA titles, like an Expedition 33 or like a Hollow Knight Silksong, because people are getting sick of getting ripped off and getting boned by the big AAA games that don't work properly and stuff like that. Both those games work really well. And they were cheaper and stuff like that. So I think indirectly, them being cheaper could help them in the Game of the Year race because more people are rolling the dice on them. But I'm curious, that's a discussion to have. Are you all, do y'all consider the price of a game when you vote for your Game of the Year? I'm fascinated. Let me know. We got to move on. Interesting thought, Oroku Saki's Gardener. And I'm sorry I couldn't give it a more thoughtful answer while I was chasing 4 pounds of pain in my ass around my office. Yes, I'm talking to you. Let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hits segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries Play One, Remake One, Erase One. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in just a minute. This week we're talking the sequel to ToeJam and Earl, so I decided to go with 3 other Sega Genesis sequels. You have Sonic the Hedgehog Part 2, Streets of Rage Part 2, and Shining Force Part 2. It was a close vote. 26% of you said play Sonic 2, remake Streets of Rage 2, and erase Shining Force 2. That was the winner. Let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Coda Blaze's Pants Have No Ass said play Shining Force 2 so I could piss my girlfriend off by constantly referring to it as Shinning Force 2 in a Groundskeeper Willie accent. Remake Sonic 2 because I loved it as a kid, but nostalgia glasses work hard with this one and it could benefit from modern polish, extra characters, and some bonus levels, and an overhaul of the Chaos Emerald half-pipe section. And then erase Streets of Rage 2. It's a great game, but I was a rollerblade/ice hockey kid, and the kind of moves skates can pull off are not good for your health when you try them in real life. What? I mean, I guess there was the one character. Was it Blaze that could skate in Streets of Rage 2? Is that why you're erasing Streets of Rage 2? Because you like to play hockey? All right. Who am I to judge? I like to play hockey, but I like Streets of Rage 2. Fair. All right, fair enough. Normal Normie said play Sonic 2. It's still my favorite Sonic game, and I want to keep it as it is. Remake Shining Force 2 is my number 1 Genesis title. This was tough. I can admit it's just shy of perfection enough to benefit from some game balance tweaks, a fast mode option, and a less clunky inventory system. Might as well throw in some Wild Arms style cutscenes while we're under the hood for that added polish. This game deserves the full day spa treatment. And then erase Streets of Rage 2. I know it's a capital crime, but hear me out. Streets of Rage 4 is 2, but better. Even down to the same roster. Erasing either of the other 2 would be erasing the best title of their line, making this the lesser of 3 evils. You always have such logical takes, Normal Normie. I like it. I like it a lot. And I don't disagree with any of your logic there, except that I haven't played Shining Force 2, but I assume it's great. George Swan said, play Sonic 2. That game is pure speed and fun, and honestly still one of the most replayable platformers ever. The music levels and chaos of the special stages, there's no way I'd skip actually playing it. Remake Streets of Rage 2. It already holds up as one of the best beat-em-ups, but with today's graphics, online co-op, and some expanded combat depth, it could be legendary all over again. And erase Shining Force 2. Not because it's bad, it's a gem. But out of the 3, it's the one I'd be willing to lose. Strategy RPGs are great, but Sonic and Streets of Rage defined the Genesis era in a way Shining Force didn't for as many people. And that, you know what? It's funny you say that, because that was my concern when I put Streets of Rage and Sonic up against Shining Force. Was that I was like, everyone's played Sonic, and a lot of people played Streets of Rage. I was like, is it going to hurt Shining Force? So it's funny you say it that way. Will has a Patreon. Said, looks like I'm in the minority this week, so I suppose I should defend myself. I'll play Shining Force 2 because I'm pretty sure I started it and liked it well enough. I'd remake Sonic 2 as a 2D platformer with updated graphics, and then I'd erase Streets of Rage 2 because beat-em-ups can get a little repetitive. And they can. You know what I found? Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. I've been playing that on my NES a little bit lately, and man, that game gets repetitive. That's one of the things I like about Streets of Rage, is I just feel like it the combat is a little bit less tedious when it comes to repetitive beat 'em up combat, you know. And Wolfgang Darren said play Shining Force 2 because I don't want to be sued. Remake Sonic 2 because all Sonic games should get a good remake. I'm looking at you, Sonic Adventure Series. And erase Streets of Rage because it's fine, but it's just a beat 'em up, and we have River City Ransom for that. Of all the beat 'em ups, you went to River City Ransom. Fair enough. I'm sure you know your business. I'm going with 13%. 13% of you voted the way I did, as did Rubik's, a.k.a. Arthur David, who said, I'll play Shining Force 2. I never played it, and I like RPGs, and Shining the Holy Ark is awesome, so I'll give it a go. I'll remake Streets of Rage 2, up the graphics, add more levels, remaster that amazing soundtrack, and speed it up a bit, particularly Max's walk speed. And then I'll erase Sonic 2. This is probably the best Sonic, but I can't risk a butterfly effect erasing Streets of Rage 3 and 4, plus that new 3D one that's coming, or Shining the Holy Ark, but I am willing to risk Sonic as a one-game wonder, so I'm pressing the delete button at supersonic speeds. That is fascinating, because if you don't know, we've never set an official rule. If you erase a game, does it erase everything else in the future or not? It's up to you to roll the dice, so that's a chance you're willing to take. And that's fair logic. If you're like, I don't want to lose the future of Shining Force and Streets of Rage, but if we have nothing but Sonic 1 to play, I can live with that. That's fair enough. I'm going same order, different reasoning. I'm playing Shining Force 2 because it's one of the three I haven't, and I have to. I have to play that game soon. I have to. That one was easy. And then I wasn't sure about Sonic 2 or Streets of Rage 2, but I am going to remake Streets of Rage 2 and make it more like Streets of Rage 4. And I'm going to erase Sonic 2 because, well, I think it's the second best Sonic game ever made. It's not the first best. That is Sonic Mania. And as long as I still have Sonic Mania, I don't need Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Plus, I can finally beat Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And now that I can beat it, it doesn't hold the same power over me that it used to. Thank you, everyone that wrote in and played along as always. What have I been? We're running behind here. Thanks to me chasing my dog around. What have I been playing? Let's go quick. I've been playing Fire Emblem, the first North American one on GBA. I'm one chapter from completion. An episode about that is coming up very, very soon. A lot to say about that one. I've also been playing this little one. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it. Hollow Knight Silk Song. I've only put about 3 hours into it. It's good. It hasn't hooked me. Not that it's bad or I don't like it. I've just been so busy with other games for the show that I haven't had time to go balls deep in. But I'm going to put some time into it this weekend once Fire Emblem is done. And then I played a little bit of Chronos The New Dawn, the new horror game from Bloober Team. Same as Silk Song. Seems very, very good. But I just haven't had enough time to really go deep into it. I've been playing so much Fire Emblem, and then I finished a playthrough of Final Fantasy IV, which we're going to be revisiting next week. And then I've been playing a little bit of GTA 5 to get ready for 350. So that's mostly what I've been. Fire Emblem has taken up a lot of my time the last week. So that's it. We're going to stop here. We'll let a sponsor in. They'll peddle their wares. And when we get back, it is ToeJam and Earl, Panic on Funkotron from here until the end of time. Okay, we'll be right back after this. I promise. This is an ad by BetterHelp. This is a true story. I was getting my beard cut just a couple of days ago, and I'm sitting in the barber shop, and the guy in the chair next to me is just going off about his divorce to the barbers and the rest of us there, and we're all having a laugh about it. But you can tell the guy genuinely just needed an ear to bend. And talking to someone can help, right? And a barber might be a master at comb-overs, but they're not necessarily the most qualified person to help you through a tough time. If you're working through anxiety, relationship issues, depression, a credentialed therapist might be a better choice. And BetterHelp can make that happen with their online therapy service. I've been saying it for years, but I couldn't believe how much talking to a therapist helped me when I needed to. They don't just know how to listen, they know how to help you. BetterHelp has been helping people find the right therapist for them for over 10 years, and they're rocking a 4.9 rating out of 1.7 million client session reviews. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct, and they're all fully licensed in the US. You'll just fill out a quick questionnaire to let BetterHelp know what's on your mind, and then they'll pair you with one of their over 30,000 therapists online that they feel best suits your needs. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's get into some ToeJam and Earl, Panic on Funkotron. If you're new to the show, by the way, not all of my intros involve me chasing a puppy around and getting mad at her. Jokingly. Don't ever think that I'm actually yelling at my dog. That's not going to happen. It's just Shaylee's not here to help me. It's the first episode I've had to record with this little stinker running around my office, and she makes me crazy. Anyways, ToeJam Earl. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the microphone. Lots of comments this week. I'm going to rip through a few of them as fast as I can. Psychomantis23 said, man, I am gassed you are covering this, and I have been waiting ever since you did an episode on the original. This takes me way back and was one of the first Sega games I ever had. So many fond memories of playing it with my dad, chucking jars to catch weird humans, and the level designs. Oh my fuck, the trippy flower trees and rolling hills are amazing. One memory that stands out is I think you could find hidden doors, and I love the animation when you stood in front of one and they sucked your character in, all to go to some crazy ass level where you're running at top speed and can't stop. My dad and I played this one first and then discovered the original, which I believe he nicked a copy of from Blockbuster Video. Old video. I love this. Psychomantis says his dad nicked a copy from Blockbuster Video, which was an old school video rental place in the UK from the 90s. Pure nostalgia. You know what's funny about that, Psychomantis, is I know there are people listening to this that genuinely don't know what Blockbuster is. And that's so funny to me because, yes, we had them here too. But over here, we called them Chazwazes. Anyways, hype for the show on this one. One of the all-time greats. Big love, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. Your podcast keep me going on my long drives from Bristol to London. Sound. I don't know where Bristol is, but London alone is a long drive. So cheers. Cheers, as you say over there. Cheers, mate. Keep your eye on the road, yeah? That's for true. Broken Days said, my mom and I always used to play the first game together. Great memories. When the sequel came out, I bought it for her for Christmas so we could play it together. She was not a fan, but I played the hell out of it. Different from the first, but a great game. So nice that so many of you played games with your parents when you were kids. Jeez. What I wouldn't have given for that. LaQuisha said, I hate this game. My husband loves it, and every time he makes me play, I just have to slog around. Why do they move so slow? This game should come with free edibles. They do move slow. I agree. They do move slow. It's odd. I agree with that. Ian Blanchard said, my friend's dad bought this Golem and played it all weekend long. We sat there and wanted to play it so bad. Sunday came and he brought it back. We were so hooked. We ran right back up there and rented it again and again. So weird, so good. Music slaps. This is so 90s. This is a very 90s game. That I do agree with. Very 90s game. Where was I here? Steve S. said, when I was younger and growing up on the vastly superior Sega Genesis console, I was gifted this game. I enjoyed playing it for the super funky music. It wasn't until I listened to a great podcast by Mr. Blank that I realized this game was actually a sequel to a game that had different gameplay mechanics. Overall, a core childhood memory. I'm shocked at how many of you have played one of ToeJam Earl's games, but not the other. That's so crazy to me. Like that, you're not alone in that, Steve. David Rae, my guest, has never played the first one. There's so many of you. So odd. And MF Blast Processing said, me and my brother played this so much over the years, nothing felt better than pelting those damn boogeymen with jars. Absolute banger of a soundtrack and possibly my favorite from the Genesis. Does have a great soundtrack. I fucking hate those boogeymen. I hate some things about this game, but I don't hate the game as a whole. I just hate parts of it. Let's talk about it. How about instead of me telling you what I'm going to say, how about I just say what I'm going to say and then you all hear what I have to say. I'm going to cue up some of that Panic on Funkotron music. And when it stops, my boy David and I are going to talk ToeJam Earl, Panic on Funkotron, which originally released in North America on the Sega Genesis in December of 1993. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, joining me on a magnificent Monday afternoon to talk ToeJam Earl, Panic in Funkotron is the Earl to my ToeJam. Although you don't really look like either one, but I wasn't going to call you ToeJam.
I think you're wrong. I look like ToeJam. I've got the gangly limbs and everything. You know what I mean?
And I do have the belly. Like I think I am Earl to your ToeJam, but I don't want to call you ToeJam because it's the gentleman of Remember the Game Industry's fan favorite David Rae. I haven't had you on the old RTG in a while, buddy. How's life? How you doing?
Going along. Yes. Have a podcast of my own, and I'm going to. This is wild. This is 2 weeks before my heart surgery, so that's
the craziest thing.
Yeah,
heart surgery. It's not like you're just like, my shoulder's messed up. I got to go and get it fixed.
Oh no.
To speak of, all I know of your surgery is the Simpsons and Homer's bypass.
Yeah.
Like, that is literally all. It's like they're gonna open you up and tinker with your ticker. Like, that's literally all I know of heart
Yeah.
surgery. But
It's yeah. Oh, it's going to be weird. This is the first surgery I've gone through. Look, this is not about the game anymore. I'm sorry.
no, that's
I'll
okay.
be fine.
Yes, you will be. You will be. We'll give you a little RTG, a little bit of good mojo. You're gonna
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah.
And you'll have lots of time to play video games.
Yeah, I'm Final Fantasy Tactics. That's
Oh,
I've
man.
been waiting for 15 years to get my hands on that game, like a reissue. Anyways,
I can't believe it's like when they announced. Sorry, I know we are going. Well, at least we're talking video games. Like,
yeah,
I was when they announced that the Final Fantasy Tactics re-release, like the remaster, or whatever you want to call it, the remake. I was excited because I love that game, as everybody does. But I also, like, it's not insane that, like, how was the original Final Fantasy Tactics not just on everything, like on Switch, on the PSN, on the Xbox Marketplace? Like, why not?
yeah.
Like, it's just, I'm sure there's more to it than this. Maybe there's not, but I've always assumed that, like, you've got these games just sitting on like an external hard drive somewhere. Like, fucking throw them on marketplaces, sell them to us, like, we want to buy them. But
Well, it sounded like that one in particular they needed to reprogram, like as in I don't know if they had all the original files. I don't know.
yeah.
There's some weird background to that, but I don't know.
And maybe the argument is, hey, if we just keep it off marketplaces for like 15 years, we'll put, it's got a new hat. We'll give it a new hat and fucking sell it to you for full price, and you suckers will run it over each other to get it, and we will.
That's
Damn it.
true.
So
It's true.
fair enough.
Anyway.
Now, one game I don't think you'll be playing during your recovery is ToeJam and Earl Panic on Funkotron. Or
No.
Where are you on this one? Because I sent out the list of games I wanted to cover on the show over the next couple of months.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'll talk some ToeJam and Earl. So lay it on me. Why? Are you a ToeJam and Earl fan?
Well, like, this is one of those games that, like, was one of the few available games to rent in Minnedosa, Manitoba. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll give this a shot. And, like, I remember liking it back in the day because I think it's because I beat it. I think that helps me like a game. It's like, yeah, I beat it. That's a good game.
Fair enough. Yep.
But I know, like, I was watching a Let's Play of it to kind of like jog my memory because it's been so long. And as I was watching, I'm like, oh yeah, there's actually this is not a great game. Like, it was fine. There was some had a lot of style and great looks and everything, but the gameplay itself had some weird issues. Like, the platforming's a little weird because the sprites are, like, look really good for a Genesis game.
Agreed.
But because it has that, it looks like it's like a cousin to Earthworm Jim in terms of, like, the graphics and everything, and it has a very certain style. It's that, like, early 90s hip hop aesthetic kind of a thing.
Yeah. It's from that era, right? Like, the early, like, for people that weren't around, like our younger listeners, like that early 90s, like 91 to like 95, 96. It was that kind of like we had ToeJam and Earl, Earthworm Jim, Booger Man. Like, it was kind of that weird off the wall
kind of humor,
not always
and
gross
stuff.
out humor, but just kind of like, zany. Like, even on TV, we had like Rocko's Modern Life and shows like that. Like, that's the era of this game. And I kind of agree with you. Like, I didn't play any of these growing up, and I played ToeJam and Earl a few years ago, and I love that game. The first one, love that game.
I'd say I never played it. I remember seeing screenshots of the old game, and I'm like, it seems like, the sprites are smaller. It seems like they didn't really find the look until the second one. Like, it seemed like they improved it quite a bit for the second one. But I never played the first.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, the second looks a million times better, no question. Yeah. But the first one is almost like, it's like the earliest roguelike I've ever played. Like, you have to go from like level to level, which is like island to island or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're collecting like presents, and the gifts that you find have random. Some of them have power ups in them. Some of them have like like things that'll hurt you in them. Okay. And you basically need to like collect parts of your ship and rebuild your ship without getting killed. and it's very slow moving. But it's really cool because again, like every time you turn it on, it's completely random. Like you like how I have everything I need out of this
Okay.
level. Do I want to roll the dice and go after some more presents, knowing they might help me or they might screw me? Um,
Got you.
and so every
Interesting.
yeah, and so ToeJam and Earl 2 or Panic on Funkotron, it picks up at the end of the first one where ToeJam and Earl fix their ship and go back to their home planet, but they bring a bunch of Earthlings with them, and now you need to catch the Earthlings that are running around on Funkotron on their planet.
Yeah.
And everyone had warned me that this one is not the same as the first one, and I was like, it's all good, like because same as you, I'd seen parts of it, and I was like, dude, it looks gorgeous. It really is one of the better looking games from the era. It looks really good.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
precisely. Yeah.
yeah, and I was kind of expecting like a side-scrolling platformer, and
Yep.
it kind of was, but the
Yeah.
whole level just becomes about finding humans and trapping them in these jars.
Yeah.
And I love the originality of the concept and the innovation of it, but
Yeah,
I
it's
gotta
a great inverse of the concept of like, oh, are invading Earth. Now it's
100%.
like, oh, this is this weird alien planet, and all these like goofy looking humans are causing havoc. You know, it's a
100%.
great
And
twist
I
on
like
it.
that. I
Yeah,
like that idea that like humans are running around on their planet. We get to see where they're from. Like you get to talk to other aliens that are from ToeJam and Earl's planet, and they talk the same way, and all that is really rad. I
yeah,
guess my problem with this one was just like I'm a platforming snob. Like I love
yeah.
platformers, and I was like, this doesn't do platforming particularly well. Like it's a
No,
very slow, the whole point of the game is just looking in bushes and trees and trying to find where the humans are hidden. But then once you find the humans, like that gameplay loop of just throwing jars at them, catching them, and then onward and upward and finding the next one,
yeah,
it kind of ran its course for me. Like
yeah,
and I want to make sure I make this clear because I know there's a lot of people who listen to this that love it. If I was like you, some of you that love this game, or David, and I grew up with this one, playing this one, I probably would have a soft spot for it. Like I always go
yeah,
back to Bart versus the Space Mutants. Like I know that
yeah,
game sucks, but I played it a lot growing up, so I love that game.
yeah.
I have no attachment to this one, and I just as a big fan of the first game, I was disappointed in the direction they took this one.
Yeah, well, and I know what you mean because I was as I was kind of like watching through the Let's Play, and I was remembering, oh yeah, it has the most anticlimactic like finishing fight kind of a thing. Did you beat it? Did you get to
No,
it?
I wanted to get that out there.
Yeah,
So I did, and then I figured out I had kids mode on because I was like, dude, this game like never ends. This is easy. I beat like 6 levels, and I was like, that was it. What the hell was that?
yeah,
And then I looked up that in the kids mode, and I was like, oh. So then I flipped it to adult mode, and I think my save file or my save states like stage like 10 or 11.
yeah.
But I haven't. I just don't really feel the need to go back to it. What am I missing here at the end of this game?
Well, that's the thing. Like, well, you'll notice throughout the whole thing, there's not really any bosses. Like, it is just the same kind of group of enemies, and yeah, there's like some that are more difficult than others, but it's the same gameplay loop. And you get to the end of the level, you throw the humans in a spaceship, and off they go. There's no like escalation, and even in the end game, you're going through this like one field, and it's like the flying fairy creatures that you've seen them throughout the whole game, and it's just a group of them, not even like particularly a lot of them. It's just oh, fight some in a field, you wrap up the game, and then you go back home. Like, it's such an climatic finishing sequence.
That's so
Like,
weird.
it is
Is it-
very bizarre. And
Also,
I
I
think
hate those
that's where
fairies.
that game suffers from, because I was like, man, this game really needs something else, like a boss battles. I think that's so important for platforming, that you have like boss fights every once in a while to mix it up, right? And
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
change in the gameplay necessarily, aside from like these mini games that you do every once in a while. Like, there's like that like rhythm games where you're dancing with somebody on a boombox, and you have to like mimic what they do, kind of a thing. Or there's the when you're bouncing on these like spongy things, and it's like you're doing a trampoline acrobatics kind of a thing to get points for judges. So they have like little strange mini games and everything, but I don't know. It felt like it didn't escalate really.
No, I wanted more of that. That was like there was times where I thought the game. It's like I guess if you've not played it, I mean the whole concept is you're ToeJam and Earl, the two aliens, and again you're back on your home planet. You need to catch these humans, and like David said, basically every level just involves finding all of the hidden humans in that level and catching them in these magic jars. And then you go to the end of the level, you have them all in a giant sack, you throw them in a ship to Earth, they send them off, you go to the next level, and it's rinse and repeat. And like that gameplay loop did nothing for me. Like I found that got old really fast. Where I thought the game shined is what you're saying. It's all there's so many little things. Like you'll come across other aliens that are standing by like these old giant boom boxes and they'll dance.
And they have dialogue and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, they have like this really like kind of funny dialogue. And then they dance, and the dance moves are set to A, B, and C. I can't remember what the words are, but it's like words that are set to A, B, and C on the Genesis controller.
I forget A. But
yeah,
it's boom and clap. I know where that is too. Yeah.
And then you need to basically play like Simon Says and like hit it back at them. Yeah. And I loved that. I loved stuff like there's all kinds of, and again, this is where the Earthworm Jim thing comes in, where they're like, hey, let's just, I don't know. I don't think this is how they made the game, but it's almost like they were just going through like their hard drive and they're like, what other household objects have you pixelated? And they're like, I've made a giant red button on a signpost.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh fuck yeah, we can use that. Let's put 100 of those in. And that's fun. You'll push a button and then something happens and you need to get to it and hit the next one and hit the next one. Like I loved that. Like, because all you're doing is collecting power-ups or collecting funk, which we'll get into and stuff like that. I enjoyed that kind of stuff. It's just again, like to me, like the big problem was that at the end of the day, there's literally like a little arrow on the bottom of the screen that's telling you what direction the closest human to you is in.
Yeah.
And so you follow that because the humans, sometimes you'll just find them like running around outside. And I if I could sidebar here, I think the humans in ToeJam and Earl act quite similarly to how humans would actually act on somebody. Like they're just obnoxious, running around taking pictures of everything, making a mess. One guy's naked in a box. I'm like, that sounds like humans. That's what we would do.
I do have to say, like the group of enemies that they do have, like, they're great enemies style wise. Of like, oh yeah, there's the one kid who's like throwing tomatoes at you. There's the naked guy in a box. There's somebody with a camera, and so you have to like cover your eyes in order to avoid the flash. So they did have like, I think some of the enemies were like fun concepts and like a variety of enemies and everything, but it's like I remember, and I was watching as I was watching this person play, I'm like, oh, I remember how clunky the jumping is, because it feels really weird, and it's not as crisp as some other games. There's the other interesting thing. Did you? There's also the sequence of the hyper funk zone. Did you ever get into that place?
I did. Yeah, there's this like funky. So everything about this game is funk. Like you collect funk, and then you can use it to like teleport around. So you can teleport through walls and stuff like that. Yeah. And then you end up, like David said, you go to this like bonus world, and then it becomes like this auto scrolling thing where they're all of a sudden. What's funny about that is like, they don't move fast. Like when you're in the regular world and the regular levels, it's very slow.
Yeah.
And then it fucking drops you into this bonus world, and all of a sudden, because you can play as ToeJam or Earl, whichever one you're playing as has like a fucking hot pepper up their ass because they're just flying. Yeah. And you need to like avoid obstacles while collecting power-ups. And that's like, give me stuff like that. Give me the whole finding power-ups by pushing the buttons and things like that. Give me stuff like those bonus levels. That's where I was having fun. Ironically, the only time I wasn't having fun was catching the humans. Yeah. Because like you said, it's so, it doesn't control all that well. And it's odd because Sega games, like when I think of Sega, I think Sonic.
Yeah.
And I think like fast. And I may have my criticisms of Sonic games, but like when you push jump, that little bastard jumps. Like it's fast. And
That's what's the fun thing about Sonic is the fast sequences and trying to go like dodging things and the quick reflexes. That's what makes Sonic so much fun, and that's why what made the Hyper Funk Zone so fun was that speed and clip and like reacting, like how far can you get in it, because that was the whole thing. Things are flying at you, you have to dodge, you have to like do whatever to try to get as far as you can, and that's the kind of fun kind of platforming you want. But when you're out in the normal dimension, I guess, yeah, like the jumping's a little clunky. It's not you that simple thing that you hold the button so you can kind of run and jump like Mario. Like even that kind of stuff is not really present. So it handles a little awkwardly.
okay, sorry if I'm ruining a train of thought here. I just had to chase the new CEO out of my room because she was trying to eat a Sega Genesis game. Which, if you're going to chew up one of my games, those are the ones to chew on. But get the hell out of here, you little
We don't
stinker.
want that generally. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I like, and that's one of the other things too with the jumping. It's just that you mentioned is that like I outside of like things falling on your head, there's not a lot that you can drown, I guess, but I never did. There's not a ton that can hurt you other than the humans. And that was actually one of the funny things too, is that I was like, this game is kind of boring until I come across a human. But then when you come across a human, it's either mash the jar button and just whip jars of them till you catch them, or else try to dodge them. And I was not good at dodging them. And then I would just get irritated that I couldn't jump fast enough. Like,
I know what you mean. That thing of just kind of wandering around. There's also like a lot of secret areas. Like they love putting like, oh, there's like the invisible wall and you can kind of go in. There's like things to find. And there are some like interesting ideas in terms of like special abilities that you can do. Like there's the panic mode where you just start it's almost like an invincibility star in Mario where you're just running around and you're throwing jars at random and you're like invincible. Like that's kind of fun. There's like one that just like literally sucks up every enemy into a vacuum and puts them all into jars. So they had like some like interesting ideas. But that gameplay was a little lackluster. What
like
I think, sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think one of the strongest points of this game, though, is they have so many great NPCs and like with personalities, and they have dialogue. There's not a lot of side scrollers that have dialogue. You know what I mean? It's like
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah,
It's got a little story to it, and at one point you're trying to find these. There's like for the good ending, you have to collect all of these items for a guy named Lamont, this mysterious, super powerful being or whatever. And you're going around talking with people, and people can give you hints to some of the secret areas, and like. That's where this game shines, is like kind of the personality of it, and I think that's where I probably had why it was so fun for me when I was younger, because it felt like, oh, like this is like a little cartoon that you're like living in.
Yeah. It's gonna sound like a little bit of like, I know this is gonna sound like a bit of a stretch, but it almost has like just slight shades of Zelda 2 in it, and only in the sense of like, you'll just go into these random places and talk to these fucking random people, and 2 out of 3 conversations you have are just stupid. It's just them saying stupid, funny alien things, and it's funny and it's over. But then every once in a while, like you'll find a side quest, or you'll find a mini game, or you'll find a hint or something like that, which is, and you're right, we didn't have a lot of that back then. Like, again, thinking of Sonic as the platformer on the Genesis, cool games, but like the cutscenes and the dialogue and stuff, pretty same as Mario, not a ton, right? So it was cool.
Like they were like non-existent. It felt like, and I think that's where I'm wondering if this game is coming after like, look, there are already these more famous side scrollers, and we got to find our own kind of thing. Well, we have this wild world that we can like explore and have these fun characters and everything like that. And new ways of approaching side scrolling, but it's almost trying to do the thing of everything else has been kind of perfected. So we got to kind of just go in a new direction.
Yeah, and
And
that's the slippery slope. Is like I appreciate the trying something different, thinking outside of the
yeah,
box. Because again, like if you're listening to this and you've not played the original ToeJam and Earl, especially if you have played Panic and on Funkotron, like much like everyone was warning me that Funkotron is not like the first game. The first game is nothing like this. The first one, the graphics are tiny, like they're tiny little blips on these floating islands. It's very slow. It's very difficult. It's random. It's a not for everybody, but I quite like it. I get how it's not for everyone, but I quite like it. And for them to make a sequel, I was reading that like the developers initially kind of wanted to just make another one like the first one, and then people were like, no, you got to do something different, and they kind of got talked into / pushed into making a more traditional style platforming game. And
yeah,
I genuinely do respect that they tried to do something different with the catching the humans and that kind of stuff, because
yeah,
to be honest, I agree with you. How, like, at this point, when ToeJam and Earl Panic on Funkotron came out, we had Super Mario World, we had the Sonic the Hedgehog trilogy,
yeah.
among so many other great platformers. Like, what are you gonna? How do we really just need another side-scrolling platformer with funky creatures in it? You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
I appreciate that they tried to do something different. Personally, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I don't particularly like boss fights. I think it would have been more fun if you had spent like the level going around collecting clues to like find the one human in a level, and then the human was the boss fight,
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
as opposed to like just fighting the. Because even like when you like, it's fun the first time you find a new sprite or a new human.
Yeah.
But then, like, once you've heard that na 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 like 30
Yeah.
times, you're like, all right, I don't even want to catch you. I might just murder you, and I'll face the wrath if I have to. So it would
I
have been
wish
like
I
that.
had a
That's just
gun in
me.
this game. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd shoot you if I had a gun. Yeah, well, you don't. So I have jars. So like
Just
it's
cards. Yeah.
just jars. I respect the innovation, but I found it, just kind of. It does everything. It innovates. It looks nice. It sounds good. I like the music a lot. It does everything except play
Yeah.
super well.
The basics of the game is what's flawed, which is tragic. Because, like, yeah, as I said, there's a story to it. Like, I think one of the things that kind of like is a little bit lacking in Mario and Sonic to a degree is story in those early
Agreed.
games. It was not, aside from your occasional text box of like, I'm sorry, but the princess is in another castle. There's not a lot there. It's just like, go get the princess. That's the whole thing. We're not going to explore that anymore. Just go and jump and everything. And so, like, that's why I do appreciate that they tried to add something into this. But you got to still have the core gameplay be solid. If you're doing a
Agreed.
platform, get the basics of the platforming down, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And for the record, because I know I'm gonna get at least one message about this, like I
Mhm.
fully understand and agree with the obscurity of me defending Bubsy on this show regularly, but then being like, ToeJam and Earl's not that good a platformer when Bubsy sucks, and I know he sucks. But I grew up with Bubsy. If I had grown up with ToeJam and Earl, I would have loved them too. But they were locked on Sega, and I was a Super Nintendo kid, and my parents thought that ToeJam was offensive, so we couldn't play it when we were growing up. But
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I'll tell you what. Let's. I feel like we've been kind of hard on this. So let's
yeah.
let a sponsor in here so that I can pay my bills, and then when we get back, we'll get into some of the good about the game, because I really do want to talk about some of the power ups and stuff, because some of them are actually pretty rad.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll be back in a second here. Okay. I get, first and foremost, I love the idea that, like, well, you have some. I think you do have money. I don't really know what the money does, but I love that you do have coins, but it's the Funkitude. I love that
Yeah.
Funkitude is like, that's such a ToeJam and Earl thing. Is you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's about how funky you are. And they really, it doesn't feel as forced as it should. That everything is funky, but it doesn't seem forced. Does that it works? It's awesome.
This game is the most 90s game I've ever seen. One of the reasons I don't think you can really remake this game, like there'd be no point in making a new ToeJam and Earl, because it's just like so drenched in this specific kind of hip hop culture of a certain era. I think it did it well. Like, as I said, when you're into the hyper funk zone, it's all these, like, the background is like very wild neon colors, um, random symbols and everything, like, like Saved by the Bell, the
Yes.
opening logo with
Yes.
the weird squiggles, and I don't know why the 90s was all had that everywhere, of
Dude,
all
that
these.
the cups with the purple squiggles that
Yeah,
every person under the sun has seen. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
there's or if you see like a bowling alley that was built in the 90s, you'll see these like squiggles on the carpets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It
Better
was
times.
it was it was this game is so the most 90s, early 90s that you could possibly have.
Yeah. And
um
I think it works. It's very
yeah,
charming. Like ToeJam and
yeah,
Earl themselves they're very likable in the first game, and I like them even more because that's easily the thing I praise the most about this game
yes.
is the graphics. And you mentioned it. This is among the best looking games from this generation.
Yeah,
And
for especially for the Genesis, I feel like the Genesis, like the Super Nintendo, generally it felt like they had like better graphics, generally speaking. But the Funkotron is like, oh, they really figured, they finally have figured out how to do graphics well, or it's like on its way, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Um,
I've always liked, and I've always said that I do it. I like Genesis graphics, but it's because they look like a cartoon. Like when I think of
yeah,
Sonic and I think about like Vector Man, like I like how cartoony they look. They don't
yeah,
where he's like when you think of like Super Mario World. I think that game. I mean, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I like that game. But I just like it doesn't. It looks a little bit more. I don't know if mature is the word, but like a little bit more constricted. Whereas Sonic is so poppy and like bright and colorful. But
yeah,
that said, I agree with you, dude. ToeJam and Earl, like it looks like playing a Saturday morning cartoon, and it's really
yeah,
awesome seeing these two little sprites from the first game. That again in the first game are these tiny little blocky sprites, and
yeah,
suddenly seeing them so big and so detailed, like the cell shading that's on them.
yeah,
Some of the little animations they have, like when they burn or when you beat a level and they get launched up into the sky and then come back down.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
you can every time you walk past a tree or a bush or whatever the hell in the background, you push up and ToeJam or Earl will like lean back and like pull it apart and look in it or shake the tree. And sometimes like a human will fall out. Sometimes a power up, like a gift will fall out. Sometimes garbage will fall out. And then you have like a split second to dodge, which I actually
yeah,
really like.
yeah. Like, you
Because
don't know what
that
you're gonna get. Yeah,
yeah, that randomization, which I like that I love that they found a way to translate the randomizing of the gifts from the first game to this one.
yeah,
The payoff of the gifts isn't as good because in
no,
the first one you would get like running shoes, and then what you could do is you could hoard your items. So in the early levels of the first game, you want to collect as many gifts as you can and hoard your power up, so that in the later game you've got a whole bunch. Whereas in
gotcha.
this one, it's mostly like either points or food to get
Yeah.
health back, which is fine too. Um,
Yeah, and like the points that you earn get you free lives or whatever. But
yeah, which
yeah,
by the way, shout out to retro games that used points for something.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's so many retro games had them and they were just like useless. It was just like nobody cares about your high unless you're playing a
Unless you
game with
wanted
a
to
high
send it into
score.
GamePro, what your scores were,
Yeah,
and try to
taking the
get
old
published.
grainy taking the old photos of your TVs and sending them into GamePro.
Yeah,
Those were the days. Uh, but yeah, I like that. At least the points earn you one ups. And I will say, like when I went from playing on kid mode to playing on the regular mode, which dude, sorry, one more criticism. The menu in this game for the kid mode on and off is awful. When you go to the settings, it says
yeah,
kids mode on or off, but I can't tell which one is highlighted. One is white and one is blue. And so I
yeah.
was like, am I
They
on
both
kids
look like they're
mode?
highlighted. Yeah,
Yeah. So if you play this and you don't know, uh, the reason you'll be able to tell is if you're on kid mode, you never take damage or you never die.
oh yeah,
Which again, like I really genuinely thought at first that that's what this game did, and I was like, this is stupid. What is
yeah.
this? And then I got on adult mode and started getting wrecked, and I was like,
Oh
all
yeah,
right,
yeah.
that makes more sense.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be like, who is that for? I guess kids.
I guess kids, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like, I don't know. a game where there's no consequence and you just go like, I guess it depends how. And like I'm thinking of like the kids that would be so young that they would struggle with a game that they would need an easy mode. I don't know if they would enjoy it anyways, because like the whole vibe is all about like jokes that are not particularly kid oriented necessarily. It's not like it's
Mhm.
super mature humor or anything, but I'm like, I don't know if really
Well,
young kids would like it, you know?
not to mention that like this was the era of like NES tough.
Yeah.
Like kids back then were used to not being able to beat a game. Like that was
Yeah.
it's how many of us fired up the original Ninja Turtles being like, "Oh my god, I'm going to save the world."
Yeah.
And it turns out like no, you'll probably never save the world.
No.
That'll never happen. That was just how old games work. So I was a little surprised they put that mode in there. I was cool with it because I learned the basics of the game and then had to come over to the real world and play it on adult. But yeah, I hate the menu.
Yeah. It's a weird one. It is a weird one.
Oh,
Yeah.
it fucking pissed me off. I never played it multiplayer either, but I loved that you had the choice between ToeJam or Earl and you could play it split screen. I would have
Yeah.
liked to have tried it on split screen.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I never got a chance to do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like being able to share your health and stuff. Like it's a cool because I like the relationship. I like that they're buds. Like
Yeah.
they seem like a pair that would hang out with each other. So
Well, and like I mean, once again, that's in that weird realm of a certain kind of humor. Like it's almost like an ancestor to like SpongeBob. You know what I mean?
yes.
Like in
Yeah.
terms of a kind of feel to the game to a degree. Yeah,
They would have made a great series. Like they would have made a great animated series. The
once again,
Adventures of
you
ToeJam
can't
and
make
Earl.
that. I don't think you can make that cartoon now. Like I think you had a space of 5 years in the early '90s, and that was it. That ToeJam
Yeah,
and Earl was like
it would have
of
fit
an
in
era.
perfectly.
Yeah,
Yeah. I do like so we were talking about the graphics. I really do like the sprites of the humans outside of like you see the same humans over and over again.
yeah,
But I like that like certain humans take different numbers of jars to catch too. And
yeah,
there's like the little girl is easy. She's just annoying.
yeah.
The baseball kid is pretty easy. Dude, you know who I hate is the construction guys.
Oh yeah,
Dude, because they're on these giant jackhammer drills, and I don't. If there's a strategy to not getting like half your health taken by one of them, I can't find it. I hate them. They would wreck me because I'd see them coming and just start whipping jars, but they would
yeah,
always get near me and start doing the jackhammering, and then I just get stuck shaking on the ground and I'd lose like half my health.
yeah,
I hate those guys, and you can't, and you can find food, but you can't like hoard it. Like you got to use it at that moment.
yeah,
And so like it sucked because I'd be looking. So when you're looking for humans, eventually the little arrow radar turns into a green dot to tell you there's a human nearby.
yeah.
So then you're looking in every tree and every bush, like in every sewer drain. And I'm constantly triggering all these food power-ups come flying out, but I'm like, my health is full. I don't need you yet. Then I find the human, and then the human takes a big bite out of my ass before I catch him, and then I have no food left to get my health back because I found all the food looking for the human. Damn it! Like there's no tell unless you use that
Yeah,
the scan.
Funkovision.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. That's again such a 90s. You can use some of your funk to turn on Funkovision, and then all it is it's like you put on X-ray specs on the screen
Yeah.
you're standing on, and any humans you can see them like where they're hiding and stuff.
Yeah, or what's in bushes or whatever.
Yeah, like if it's a trap or a
you can
power-up.
see the secret portals that will take you into the hyperfunk zones and stuff like that. Like, and once again, doing that Funkovision, like it is going into that X-ray mode highlights again that weird 90s aesthetic again, where it's like, oh, everything's like neon lines and designs and everything like that. It's like it's pretty wild. The other thing actually too is you mentioned about the sprites. Not only do the sprites look nice, but they actually like fully move. Like they have like they're animated. All the enemies, all of the NPCs you meet, like they have great personality even in the animation.
Agreed. They're huge.
Sorry?
Like they're huge. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember if I think we've reviewed Mega Man 7 on here. I can't remember, but one of the things people bring up with Mega Man 7 on the Super Nintendo is that the sprites are almost too big and it
Mm,
makes Mega Man a little bit harder to play, which I disagree. I love Mega Man 7.
yeah.
But this is one of those ones as well, whereas like think like the sprites in like Super Mario World or Sonic, it almost feels like they're double that size in ToeJam and Earl. Like it's almost too, it is almost too big sometimes because the humans, you find them, and then if they go running off the screen, they're gone in like a second because they're so big. But they're
Yeah.
so nice to look at. This, like
Yeah.
I think this might be the best looking Genesis game I've played. I love the sprites, and like you said, the animations of them,
Yeah.
awesome. Uh,
Wait, you know what? I wonder if that's what's one of the reasons it hurts the gameplay, because if your sprites are so big, that means you can't also move that fast. Because if you're moving fast, suddenly like you're just going to be running into things so quickly because everything's taking up so much real estate, right? So you're going to, if you're whipping around and you're just running into things, it's going to make it even harder. So I wonder if there's like that's one of the impacts of it is like, oh, we actually have to slow our characters down a little bit and save all the speed for the hyper funk zone where like the sprites, like your sprite actually changes into this blur of colors
yeah.
in a really fun, funky way. But yeah, I wonder if that's a part of why it hurts the gameplay of it all.
Yeah, because it is like I know I said we're gonna focus on the positive, and now like, I'm really not trying to be. I don't think this is like a horrible game.
No,
It's just that like I can't figure out what it's catching the humans is fun for a while, but it gets old. You know, the randomization I thought was better in the first game. It does look nice, but I'm like,
yeah,
it doesn't do anything. And like you said, I didn't realize like there's not a single boss fight. It's just I don't know how much replay value there is there because I may be wrong, but I don't think you can leave a world until you catch every human. I
that's
never
right.
tried.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then like
they send you
you're
back.
not even so you're not even going for like a perfect score or anything because you're gonna catch all the humans.
The only thing is finding the extra gifts for Lamont, and then Lamont comes back, and but even then, it's like I suppose this is where it comes back to where the story is a little bit more brought up a little bit. Like there's the story and the characters and everything. That's where the positives in this game lie. Is just this world, these characters, these things. It's just not geared. It's just got a bad platformer everywhere else. Like it
Yeah.
does everything so well except the thing it needs to do well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I did like was like there is the odd moment where it does throw a platforming challenge at you, and where I found that the trickiest was on you had to like balance on bubbles,
Yes.
like bubble gum, like the pink bubbles, and it took me for someone that's been playing video games regularly for 3.5 decades and for a job for almost 10 years, I'm a little bit embarrassed. So long, I thought I just had to like stand on the bubble until I got near the next bubble.
Yeah.
But
No, you have to
it's like
balance.
and it doesn't like considering how good the animations are, it doesn't do a ton to show you that like when he starts going to the left or the right, you need to push back the other way.
Yeah.
And I found that a little bit challenging. And I was like, dude, I would have like give me this. Like make me take bubbles across like a fire pit or something. Like that's all I would have. And I know I'm going around in circles, but like I'm really conflicted with this game because I agree with those that write into the show even today, and they're like, dude, so many games are like the same 5 blueprints. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like try something different, and they did, and I respect them greatly for doing that. But it's just I don't know. It's weird because I know even reading the comments, like I feel like whichever one you played first is your favorite. Like if you played the first one, you like it better. If you played the second one, you like it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're so different outside of having those two characters. This one's got so much personality. I just found it boring to play.
Yeah. You know, like,
Um,
and I, when I was a kid and I played it, I remember I enjoyed my time with it. Like, it's because of what it did do really well. But I feel like as I'm older and I'm like looking back and I've played enough games and I'm just watching that old gameplay, I'm like, oh, right. This game had some fundamental flaws in
uh,
terms of handling
and
and everything.
some of those outside of the construction guy, a couple of those other humans that made me crazy. The fucking fairy lady that would
Yep.
like fly over you, and I don't know she's like, I think it's like laughing powder she's pouring on you, and your
Yes.
character just starts laughing hysterically. But then when she does it, you can't move.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying. And this isn't a ToeJam and Earl thing. I'll ask you, is there anything more annoying in a game than an attack that just stops you from playing but doesn't hurt you? And you're
Yeah.
just sitting there like watching it play out, and you're just like, when it happens for like the 8th time, you're just like, piss off. I didn't get caught in that. It's not hurting me.
Yeah. And
I
it's
didn't
supposed to be
know.
like a 1-2 combo. Like there's probably supposed to be like, I guess the design of it is like, oh, there would be another human nearby that can hurt you and you can't get out of the way. It's a weird one. And once again, those fairies that you're talking about, that it's like a group of those that you have to go through a field on and attack. And that's the ending of the game, is you're fighting like 5 of those. So it's like one of the most annoying ones to fight, but it's not like challenging. You know what I mean? Like it's just annoying.
Yeah, that one's annoying. And that, like with the humans, I did like the ones with a little bit more the woman with the little pink poodles.
Yeah.
I liked her, but those poodles were such a pain in your ass because they were so fast.
Yeah.
And they would get you. And then the naked guy in the box. And you couldn't catch him until he came out of the box. And I found that guy, when that guy first came up, I was like, this is like a kid's game. We're really going naked guy in a box, eh? And I was like, all right, that's what we're doing. But again, to give it points for creativity, the fairy throwing laughing powder at you, the rich lady with the little pink poodles, those guys that were in like the black bodysuits that would disappear and reappear.
Yes.
That would mess. I hate those guys. Like the naked guy in the box. It's very on point for ToeJam and Earl. Like they didn't just make it generic guy walking around, and that's rad.
Yeah.
It's just some of them. I don't know. Like it just like 50% of this time when I was playing it, I was like, this is awesome. And then 50% of the time I was like, I'm getting really fucking annoyed with this game. Like,
and you, when you mentioned this, like the little girl laughing, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Especially if you can't find them, it just like drives. Yeah. The other thing is the music. The music's like, the music's on point, you know, like it's got funky music. Like it's
love it. Yeah.
As I said, this game is like, I can see why people really like loved it, especially back in its day, kind of a thing, because it stood out. It did a lot of things different, but there's just some fun, big problems with it.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
that
nothing in this,
goated, you know,
nothing in this game makes me fucking angrier than when I can hear a human. And I'm hearing that like na 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 na, and I'm like, where are you? And I'm like, the lights flashing. I don't have any funk left to Funkavision to try to find them, and it's like it's like mother funkin', where are you piece of shit? God damn it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's creative. I love a cartoon about it. I was shocked. I was reading the Wikipedia page before we recorded this, and there was a list that had it slid in at in the top 10 best Genesis games, which wow. I was a little bit shocked by.
Yeah.
The first one would probably be in my top 10. I don't know if this one would.
I feel like, to be honest, I haven't met a lot of people that have played the first game, and the times I remember hearing about it is like generally people seem to like the second one more. Like I don't know. I haven't heard. I think you're the first person I've met that like has liked the first one that I know of.
I think like if I had played them as a kid, I don't even know if I would have liked the first one. Like it's not that good to look at. It's very slow. It's really hard. Yeah. I would have been a fan of this one. Like this is one, if we had owned this game as a kid, I would have played the shit out of it. So anyone that's got nostalgia for it, I get, because I would have been all over this. But as an adult and in 2025, where I love roguelike games, the first one just clicks with me so much more than this one.
Yeah, roguelite games are very fun. Yeah,
I love them. Yeah. But this one, I don't know, cool. I don't know. I respect what they tried. I feel like we're just, what else is there to say? Like, I was like, I don't even know how long this is going to be. There's not a lot of meat on this bone. Run around in these worlds, talk to aliens, dodge tires, and collect humans.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I like that they tried something different. I can get on board with that. I do need to play. I know there was a fourth one that came out a few years ago. It was like a Kickstarted game.
Oh, okay.
And I really want to try it now just to see, because I've really become a fan of, like, I really like these two characters.
Yeah.
Like I could, I'm 1 for 2 on their games, but I really like the characters. And ToeJam and Earl back in the groove.
Yeah,
I might have to try
think I
this one
saw
out.
something about that today too, as I was getting ready, but I didn't
ToeJam
read
and
up
Earl.
on it. But
They look like they've been like PG'd, like they look like pulled back, but I don't know, maybe not. Man, like, can you imagine? We'll never get it now, but can you imagine what they could do with ToeJam and Earl if they just leaned into like the M rating, like a high on life game, and just went like full blown adult humor with ToeJam and Earl? It could be hilarious.
yeah. Oh, it could definitely, because it's kind of related to Ren and Stimpy. Like, there's like that vibe of Ren and Stimpy is there, sort of like that kind of weirdo kind of energy. And if they would have gone into that more mature thing, I think it could have lived in that space. Yeah.
I wonder what happened to the developers. I'm gonna look that up. Anyway, I think I'm done. Like it's got no saves. It's got a password system. I'm not gonna hurt it for that. That's just gaming
the reality of those old games. Yeah.
Those stupid old passwords. Yeah. ToeJam and Earl was developed by Johnson Versanger Productions. They were defunct in 2003. So maybe ToeJam. I'm gonna blame Panic on Funkotron. I'm gonna say that's what happened. It says after poor sales of ToeJam and Earl 3, the company disbanded. Yeah. So, man, ToeJam and Earl. All right, well, let's. Are you good? Is there anything we missed? Like, we talked about the naked guy in the box. We danced.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, I think we hit it. Yeah.
All right. Let's score this thing. How many levels are in this game? ToeJam. Oh no, wait. How about let's score it out of 2003, because that's when the initial company went out of business.
2003.
So we'll pay tribute to the initial the founders of ToeJam and Earl. So the floor is yours, my guest. Out of 2003 points, how many points would you give ToeJam and Earl Panic on Funkotron?
I got to do the math on this. I don't know, like 1257. 1257. I think back in the day I could see it maybe giving a better number. I think just where platforming is now, like, you just can't go back. You can go back to Super Mario World now and it still plays great. This, you go back and, I just don't think it's there.
No, I'm gonna give it. I'll give it like. What are we scoring out of 2003?
2003.
I'll give it like 1300. I'd give it like a 6. It's
6-ish. Yeah.
Looks great, sounds great. I respect the innovation. I just don't find it particularly fun to play.
Yeah.
It was fun to look at. Like the first hour I played it, I was like, this is pretty sick.
Yeah.
And then it never really got any better than that.
Yeah, it just keeps the same thing throughout the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fine. If you're asking me, like, Adam, should I play ToeJam and Earl Panic on Funkotron?
If you haven't yet, I would say don't bother.
Yeah, I mean, it's on Switch Online. That's where I was playing. It was on my Switch Online. You could try it out just to see, but I just, unless you've got some nostalgic ties to it, it doesn't seem like the type of game that's really gonna rock your socks now. I don't know. Play the first one though. First one's awesome. David, man, it took too long. Good to have you back on the show.
Thanks.
What you have a busy few weeks coming up. So what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Well, the big thing, if people want to check out, as always, Quantum Kickflip. We are partway through season 3 right now. So every season, it's a brand new characters, brand new situation. Still using the thing of like where it's kids sneaking off into other dimensions to get into shenanigans. The third season is an interdimensional boarding school. So it's like all of these different kids from other dimensions come to this one boring boarding school in the middle of northern Alberta, and it gets weird sometimes in this season, and we've been having a lot of fun. I actually we're doing a thing of like rotating game masters, so I get to game master a few of the sessions, and we kind of pass it along. So we're trying something different, and I think it went really well. Check it out. Quantum Kickflip is the name of the game.
Such a great name. Sorry, that's such a great name. Because it's fun to say. Quantum Kickflip is such a great name.
Well, and like honestly, Funkotron, like I feel like that would be a great example of a dimension that you would go to in the game. Like it's that vibe. It's a very silly show, but also has like a lot of teenage angst. It's got a lot of lighthearted humor, and then also like some really good moments of emotional connection too. It's a very fun show, and I've really enjoyed making it. So
yeah, good for you. I know a lot of people in the community listen to it, so good for you guys. It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
And then your heart.
My heart, yeah. I mean, if people want to, like, look, if people want, I still have a fundraiser up. I have a GoFundMe. Feel free to give to it if you really want, but like, I am at a place where it's like I should be okay. But if you want to, you are welcome to.
Yeah. Good for you, man. You're gonna be good.
Yeah.
We'll have you back on the show, wasting time talking about old video games in no time. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And because between now and next time I have you on the show, you're literally gonna have nothing to do but sit around and play video games. So you better.
I better have a few more. And I've still been bugging you to play Bionic Commando. That's the one.
Yeah, it's so funny. I feel like every one of my regular guests has one game that they're like, dude, when are you gonna play? Insert that. Everyone, Mark McHugh, it's Persona, and I'm always like, dude, they're too long. I'm not doing them. No. And for you, I think Bionic Commando at this point maybe the oldest like ask.
Yeah.
From one of my regular guests, because you have been bringing it up for a long time, and I've had listeners be like, "Dude, I was gone back and listened to old episodes. Why don't you want to play Bionic Commando?" And I'm like, "I have no problem with. It's just I just haven't yet, but I'm not anti Bionic Commando, but we will. I promise. Before maybe that's what we'll do. Like John Cena's on his retirement tour right now and having like one last match with eight like as many of his like best opponents that he can. Maybe that's how the show will go off the air. Is like I'll just accommodate all of my regular guests to be like, what's the game we need to do? And it'll be like the retirement tour or something.
Yeah, that's right.
But we will get there. So David, thanks for doing this as always, pal. And everybody, there should be links in the description of this episode, assuming that I got them, and I'll put them in there, and you can use those to find David and all his shenanigans. So,
perfect.
Thanks for doing this, pal. Good luck with your surgery. You're going to be fine, and we'll do this again soon.
Sounds good. Take care.
And that is going to do it for this week's episode. David, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking ToeJam Earl Panic on Funkotron, and to every single one of you funky bastards listening to this, whether it was your first member of the game, your 347th, whatever number in between, thank you. There's so many retro gaming shows out there, and you picked the right one. You get a prize. No, wait. Sorry, I'm not allowed to say that. Right, Millie? No. Yeah, CEO says no prizes, but you get to sleep soundly tonight, knowing you supported a little guy from Alberta. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. Don't forget to check out David's show, Quantum Kickflip. You can find the link to that in the description of this podcast, assuming I remember to put it there, which I probably did. And if you want more of these, I know you know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. That's where it all starts. That's where the magic happens. Subscription started just $3 a month. Hundreds upon hundreds of ad-free episodes waiting for you the second you sign up, with up to 4 additional shows every week. No commercials. Plus, you get Remember the Game ad-free. And you can write into the show, help pick the games we cover, join our Discord, and all the other goodies that come with that subscription as well. I don't think I have anything else left to say. No, I don't think so. If you are a Patreon, come back tomorrow for Expansion Pass. I'll be reviewing Shinobi, Art of Vengeance, the new Shinobi game. It's fucking awesome. And I know I missed an episode last week. I usually skip one Wednesday a month to catch up on games for the show. Bear with me and don't hold it against me if I'm wrong. My goal is to not miss a Remember the Game until November now. Next week, it's going to be Final Fantasy IV Revisited. Then we're going to do Fire Emblem. Then for episode 350, we're going to do GTA 5. And then I'm hoping to sneak in 3 scary games for the second half of October. I want to do Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil Remake, and whatever wins our scary game Patreon poll for October 29th. And then I'll probably miss an episode at the beginning of November. But that's what I'm hoping for. And if something goes horribly wrong and I don't get there, well, you should be used to that by now, okay? I'm going to thank some Patreons and get out of here. Thank you all so much for listening. Go play some video games, enjoy Silksong, and talk to y'all in the next one. Cheers, so long, goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I couldn't puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, we are contractually obligated to say all their names as fast as we possibly can. So in reverse alphabetical order, a huge thank you to Zombie XE, Siegfried, Zane Donovan, Zamet. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Remember the Game Hall of Famer, Slick Motherfucking Rick. Even Rick, you're still fucking with me. Remember the Game Hall of Famer, Slick Motherfucking Rick. Zombie XE, Siegfried, Zane Donovan, Zamatos, Zach Shepard. You son of a bitch. Why? Tell me why. Why the surgeon who's not a surgeon Rowe? Wolf Magic 21, Wolfgang Darren, Wilco, Works for Me, BOS Rager, Uder Broughton. I get that reference. Tyler Patchell, Tyler, Trooper Galactus, Triple Three, Travis Sanders, Topher Love, Toby OP, Titan 420, Timothy Sabrinsky, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Thrill Ho, Those Blue Cupcakes, they sell sometimes, Thomas Smith, the Supreme Chozorizo, the Only Sean, the Okayest of Muffins, the $100 Kid, Ted Michaels, the Grim Patron, the Big Deal, Ted Explosion, Tadpole, T-Bear 87, Super Cyan, Safarios, Stud Still Smash, Storm Beeble, Spiegel, easy for me to say, Steve Dulk, Steamin' Wooly, Standard Ass Brian, Squints, Squeak Nut, Spooky Dookie, Spider Cat, Sour Goat Face, Sleeper Hit, Sharonic, Shoeboxers, Shane's World, Scotty McGee, Scotty G, Scott Brooks, Scary Terry, Savage Boosh, Sam Carpenter, Ryan 4664, Ryan Whitcomb, Ryan Perry, Ryan Kinchin, Rush's Dog Walker, Roger Stawbox Pool Cleaner, Robbie Air, Redline Arrow Drones, Raph is my favorite turtle, not Donnie, Randy Barrage, Quiet Place Queen, Profound, Postman, please refrain from tasting the knob, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Phil Lencher, Penguin Milk, Pee-wee Squitters, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Nordak, No One Cares, Nick Creature, My Left Nut, Musty Beetle, Muncal, Morgan, Mopey36, Monster SD Boner, Mizuru, Mr. Jabrodi, Mikey Hag, Mike Maloney, Mercury869, McCracken, MacGyver88, Max Legroom, Maverick Marty, Matt Zeus, Matt Babinu, Mark Sneed, Marcus Mendoza, Mendroid the Reploid, Makeshift Mallow Magic Money, Madam Nutsitch, Lucas Shaman, Lord Salazar, Lord Long Ron Von Hugendom II, Liquor Like Luigi, Lindsay Lee, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Leroy Westrich, Legendberry, Leroy Jenkins, Landon Turquoise, Laces Out Dan, King Tiki Tiki, Kia Pup, Kevin Monroe, Jinxie 425, Just James, Justin Tate, Justin Blair, Just Car Pranks, Just a Fish, Juris Dr. Mario, JSK Fusick, JR Bob Dobbs, Jort King Keegs, Jordan, Jonathan Breyer, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Johnny from Virginia, Joe the Sandman, J Nasty 15, Jay Callahan, Jimothy, Jeff Leopard, Jeff Bergeron, James Juan Francesco, Jake Carter, It's That Nerd James, Isaias, Infinity Rage, Ida Yellow, I Had Sex, I Am the Very Model of a Modern Major General, Horror Wars Podcast, Holmes, Hits Meals, High Plains Drifter, Hega Waffle, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Growlywog, Graham Kennedy, George Swan, Generic Name 238, Game Boy Gannon, Gabe, G9PSX, General Fury, Fuzzy 99, Thunder Leaps, Frosty Bear, Frank Prees, Flater Flav, Faded Sufferance, Fancy Store-Bought Dirt, Fallen Snow Kiku, Exotic Chaotic, Erotic Onion Ring. We have both exotics and erotics around here. Eric Hopewell, E-Man Trucker, Elijah Burns, Eldest Millennial, Earl, Dude, Where's My Game? Drugs bad, okay. Doug Dorn, Doogie Bowser MD, Doogie, Donnie the Dude Walter, Dissect That Film, Did It All for the Wookiee, Diablo Spartan, Devin Collins, Dean Donian, Decoy Man, DBXJ, Dave Thompson, Darth Skywalter, Darbles, Desiree, Daddy's Secret Little Chubby, Conebread, Cody Thompson, Cody Richardson, Coda Blazes Pants Have No Ass, Chugger22, Christopher Britt, God, I suck at this. Christopher Britt, Christian Gabriel, Chris Hill isn't scared. That could be anyone's ass. Chris Nethercutt, Chris Fleury, Chaz Hammond, Cesar, Carbon Fiber Zombie, Captain Black Silver, Captain Asbury Juice, Can't Destroy Her, Cannon Fodder Games, Bula, Brian Richmond, Brother Retro, Brandon DeZeba, B Money, Blibbity Blobbity Goo, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Black Hole of Ass known as the Internet, Because 19, Big the Cat, Big Daddy Randall, Beers of War, Beef Dingleberry, Beaver Boy, Bartman Forever, Botfucker, A-Town Athena, Archangel Otaku, Angry Ticks, Andy Hudson, Andrew Wright, Amanda Hug and Kiss, Alex R, Alex McIntyre, Akiris Network, Adam Arnett, Aaron Lawson, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, AB Kellen, a dude named Adam, Too Much Karma, and Grandpa Voice, Penis. I can't do a Grandpa voice. I can't get my voice up that high anymore. But Penis, nonetheless. That's a great way to end an episode of my show. I feel like that fits the tone perfectly. Thanks again, everybody. Sorry it was a little bit late. And again, hopefully we get the new CEO trained up, and I'm not trying to train her on the job moving forward, and I don't have to keep yelling at her while I'm recording podcasts. Appreciate all of you. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again soon. Goodbye.